So if you would, a big AGC round of applause for Ari Reynolds.
For those of you who don't know me, my name is Ari Reynolds. I'm a photographer here in the Twin Cities. I've been shooting AGC events since they started 3.5 years ago. I'm what we call as a roaming photographer, so I pop into events. You may have seen me, may have seen some of my photos pop up here and there. I love this group. I love what we stand for. I love having a group that can support each other no matter what it is. So first of all, thank you, Travis Sims, for starting AGC. Before I get started into that, I wanted to touch base on photography is only one of the many hats that I wear. Some people know me as a photographer and a photo booth owner. Some people know me as a business coach. Other people know me as a mom. My 2 beautiful children are sitting right here, Adam and Ivy. But one thing that a lot of people don't know about me, and something we don't talk about a lot, is I'm one of the 49% of entrepreneurs that struggle with mental health. And so hopefully you guys are looking around this room and realizing that 49%, mean that half of us in this room struggle with mental health, which means we are not alone. So starting with that, just realize that this is a support network that we have around us. I remember my first spat with mental health started when I was 10 years old, and I remember that first mental breakdown that ended up in the hospital, and that continued through elementary school, through middle school, through high school. Started with self-harm. I now have a 12-year-old who struggles with self-harm and depression, and it breaks my heart to know that our kids are struggling as much as we did years ago, and there's not enough support for them. So when I got to the end of high school and I turned 18, I didn't think that I would ever live that long. After as hard as my battle was and as just hopeless and helpless that I felt, I turned 18 and I graduated and I had this swimming drive, but I didn't know where I would be going. My battle continued onward through postpartum depression. I was homeless. I was living in my car. I couldn't obtain a job. I just couldn't even make it to the point that I could go every day, and I didn't have a fight. Some people don't realize what that looks like when depression has completely taken over your life, but I will give you a little bit of a look as to what that looked like. I had a 6-month-old child that every picture that we took was us laying in a bed together. I couldn't even get out of bed to make it to the grocery store. I couldn't take a shower because I didn't have clean clothes, and I couldn't wash clothes because there wasn't laundry detergent in the house, and I'd have to go to the store and I needed to shower in order to do that. And this overwhelming sense of anxiety was filling my body with every single thing that I did and every step that I took. And so I had this amazing support network that started to come out of the works. I started sleeping on couches. My best friend's mom is sitting right here in the front row. My dad, who is no longer with us, also stepped up to help. In 2015 was my worst suicide attempt that I ever had. I spent 14 days in an ICU. And at that point in time, I realized that I should probably do something. And over those course of those 2 years, 2013 to 2015, I had been hospitalized 15 times. So it's not like I wasn't doing things to get help, right? I was trying different therapies, group therapies, which was, just learning that not everything is as awful and horrible as it feels. I was doing individual therapy, where they would break everything down and realize what my triggers were and what I was actually doing. And then I was like, I gotta do something, anything. I was just grasping to get out of this dark hole, and I did something that most people would be like, that's crazy. I actually did shock treatment. So something that was like unheard of at that time, but I was so desperate. So in 2015, CPS came into the hospital room and said, what do you want to do? I put my kids on a life raft, I did ECT, and I can't say that it was ECT, I can't say that it was DBT, I can't say that it was individual therapy, but what I can tell you is over the course of those 10 years, each and every one of those tools that I picked up along the way led me to where I am today. A lot of people know when I walk into a room, I am a smiling face. I am a force to be reckoned with. I am bubbly, and I'm rainbows, and I'm butterflies. And that doesn't just come from not fighting for my life every day. I wanted to just take a second to kind of break into what it looks like now. Because I'm not even going to try to tell you that I don't struggle with mental health every day. But I can tell you that if you are struggling with anxiety, if you are struggling with depression, if you have bipolar, there are things that you can do to still run not one, not two, but up to 3 businesses and still maintain a healthy lifestyle. Over the course of the last couple years, friends in AGC, friends in networking have helped support me to the point that I can do this. So I had a couple stories that I wanted to share with you. New Year's Eve of 2020, this is pre-COVID, so this wasn't really a 2020 story, all right? Just that happened to be the date. But 2019, technically, I was struggling to go out. I was on Snapchat with Melissa Newkirk. I was on Snapchat with Travis. And I was like, guys, I'm coming. I swear I will be there. And I was bawling my eyes out. I was on my knees and I just couldn't do it. And they were like, Ari, like, we want you here. We love you. And I'm crying for no reason. Nobody has any idea what's going on. And I take a shower and I'm ready to go and I start crying again. And I'm all dressed up and I'm sending them pictures like I'm on my way. And I finally get there 2 minutes before midnight. They put a drink in my hand. They give me a big hug. Everybody gives me kisses. And they're like, we love you. We're so glad that you made it. Now we're all going to bed. But I did make it through the support of everybody that I had that was at that event. This doesn't just happen on a once-in-a-lifetime basis for me. This is a couple events a summer. I'm like, hey guys, I'm bringing the fruit salad. No, I'm not. This is just one of those events that I added one too many things to my plate. So over the course of all those treatments that I've done and the things that I've learned self-care. If you are not taking care of yourself first, you should probably stop and look at what your body is telling you. About a year ago, I had reached out to somebody for hypnosis. They may be an AGC member, maybe you're captain for this event. But I had sat down with him and I had said, you know, I don't think I could have done hypnosis 10 years ago. But because I had been through all of those things, I had an open enough mind to be able to do a new treatment that changed my world. And so really what it turned into was having that open mind to be able to take care of myself first, know what my body is telling me. The next piece that I would tell you is have boundaries. If you are saying yes to too many events, it's okay to say no. It is okay to know that you are a small business owner and you're only one person. Having aces in their places, I have a team that is a well-oiled machine. That if I go down for a day with depression because I just can't take it today, guess what? They're still doing sales and they're still editing photos. I've never missed a wedding because I have a passion for that. I have a passion for my business and I know what it means to other people to have those events. So, really, self-care, you guys, having healthy boundaries and having a well-oiled machine can completely change your life if you're struggling with mental health. Really quick, I want everybody in the room to close your eyes. Close your eyes. I want you to raise your hand if you have a child who struggles with mental health. I want you to raise your hand if you have a partner or a spouse who struggles with mental health. And leave them raised. I want you to raise your hand if you yourself struggle with mental health. Just so you know, no one in this room should feel alone. I've seen every hand be raised at one point in time or another. You guys can open your eyes. This was just a great exercise to show you guys that we can start to have an impact with this room, right here and right now. While you're networking, there's a couple things that really help me when I walk into a room to feel very secure and very comforted. Smiling. Smile is a huge thing to make people feel comforted. Even if you don't know them, just smiling. Next thing is when you're talking to make sure that you're standing with an open circle. If you're whispering and you're in a closed circle, it's really hard to approach that circle because you don't know them. So having that open circle is extremely helpful. If you're struggling with mental health and you would like to chat with me, if you have a child who's struggling and you'd like to connect, I did put business cards on the back table. Feel free to grab one and connect with me personally. I've been feeling like I was missing. Something's been missing in my life lately. And I'm not even going to try to tell you guys that I'm not in and out, right? It's ups and downs. I'm bipolar, let's be real. It's a great, fun ride that I'm on. But one of the things that struck me about 6 months ago was I was in a room full of people. I'm talking 2,000 people. And it felt like I was completely alone. People talk to me, people love me, like I'm networking, but I was alone. It was like in the movies when you're walking through a sea of people, but like everything's moving in slow motion. It's very similar to that. And my depression started to take over, and I started to become suicidal. And I started to just feel helpless and hopeless, like nothing mattered. And mind you, I'm a very impactful person. I have people all over the place that love me. That is not what this was. This was just my brain is wired differently than other people. And in this, the next couple of days I was trying to recover. And I was on an airplane on my way home, and I started thinking to myself, what can I do? How can I help? What is it? It's one day at a time. Like, mental health isn't just that I get to wake up tomorrow and it's better. And it's also not that I need to overcome mental health, because it's not really something that I can overcome or something that I can beat. But it's something that I can adapt to and that I can live with, and I can have a life worth living. So, with that, I started thinking of how to have a bigger impact. And so, Your Lighthouse was an idea. It is still a baby in the grand scheme of things. But Your Lighthouse is a nonprofit that I'm starting. It's currently in the paperwork phase. But if you would like to have an impact in helping youth have a place to go, it will be a drop-in center. It'll be a place very similar to AA, where you can walk in and you can have a place to go. If this is something that strikes you, feel free to touch base with me. But it is a passion of mine. It is a purpose. It is something that I feel very strongly about. And I hope that this presentation had something inside of you ignite to either impact somebody's life today. If you're struggling, I hope that this gave you some light, that no matter where you're at in your struggle, you are not alone. And it is never as bad as you feel that it is. We have an amazing community here at AGC, and I'm very thankful for them. With that, I'm going to hand this microphone back to Brad, and have a great day, you guys.